Ritwik Mukherjee is a very renowned business journalist. Everyone knows about him in Calcutta. He worked for big publications such as ET, Business Today, Financial Chronicle, and he is an independent writer also. And Kaustav Majumdar is a mentor for so many startups and very renowned educationist. He is associated with all the top Ivy schools and colleges like IIM, he teaches in IIM, he teaches in SK Jain, University of Pennsylvania, and so many more. I don't even remember Kaustav teaching in so many of such wonderful places. So over to you, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for having us over here, Sunilji. We're very, very grateful for that extremely embarrassing introduction. All of you know Sunilji, you also know that whatever Sunilji says, you should discount by about 70-80%. So that would be more me. He, of course, is obviously a very well-renowned journalist.
There can be two kinds of treatment.
There cannot be two kinds of treatment. Okay. We exchanged a few notes while we were waiting for the program to begin. Both of us are very passionate about the business of brand, the business of building the right kind of image and impact. He has worked with very large number of large organizations and looked at them very closely. I have worked with a large number of smaller organizations and we've looked at them. I have also looked at them very closely over the last 20-30 years. So what we hope to do in the next 10 minutes...
You have students who work with large organizations.
Yes, I have tons of students who work with large organizations. What we hope to do is perhaps share some of our experiences and hope that brings some degree of insight.
While sitting here, I was reminded of a story that was narrated to me sometime back by not any businessman, but someone from, quite strangely, someone from the Ramakrishna Mission Order Ascent. So he was narrating to me this story. Jesus Christ used to ride on a donkey's back when he was alive. Then there was a point of time when he used to go, wherever he used to go, he used to ride on the donkey's back. And people who used to throng, surrounding Jesus Christ, they used to treat him very well. And the donkey as well, same kind of treatment the donkey used to get. So after crucifixion, the donkey was expecting similar kind of treatment from all the disciples and devotees, which he was not getting. So as he grew old, he suddenly remembered that he means the donkey. He remembered that there was a particular locality where Christ used to get the best of treatment. So he went there. It was an afternoon. So he started like praying with kiosks and all that. And the entire people, the residents of that locality, they got so pissed off, they came out of their home with whatever they have, the sticks, bamboos and whatever, and the donkey had to face the music. So he was very ill-treated, he was beaten up severely. He came back, crestfallen. He asked one of his fellow donkey that, why did it happen like this? Then that wise donkey told him, because in all these years you failed to create an identity for yourself. There was no identity. So you were treated so wonderfully well because Christ was riding on you. So that is the kind of brand one needs to build, create one's own identity so that one can differentiate it from other products and other services.
Clearly, अगर कुछ बनना है तो Christ बनना चाहिए. Christ की donkey बन के कोई फायदा नहीं है. I completely agree with this. I work with a large number of startups. Rahul and I have worked very closely for 15 odd years now. We have also taken positions in many, not many, but quite a few startups, and it's always a struggle. One of the things that I try and do with startups, and I know we had a panel earlier and we spoke about how entrepreneurship cannot be taught. I kind of agree and I yet disagree as well. I remember when I started as an entrepreneur, I made tons of mistakes. One of my innumerable mistakes was that I could not read a balance sheet. Now, entrepreneurship is 50 different things put together. You're right, the spirit of entrepreneurship perhaps cannot be taught. I'm also a corporate trainer. The biggest lie that corporates fall for. It's a $300 billion industry which nobody understands the real value of it. I still don't. One of the many things that I used to do many years back, I used to also do motivation-centric workshops. Now, when I'm obviously not so young as I used to be, I realize it's one of the biggest lies of the world. Similarly, I feel it's very difficult to motivate somebody. I feel it's very difficult to create entrepreneurial spirit in people. But entrepreneurs can be taught the mistakes that typically people like I would have made in my early years. One of the biggest mistakes I made, those things I feel can be taught, which is what I try to do. One of the mistakes that I made is exactly what we just spoke about, is to try and create your own identity, to try and create your own brand. I remember many years back when I used to read books and not understand what I'm reading. I read somewhere that in the 80s, which is when I grew up, all of us would be exposed to about 20-30 brands a day. That number apparently has now become, the research of other professors like me and people like us don't have much work, so we do ridiculously stupid research. One such research is that we are exposed to 5,000 odd brands a day. I don't know whether this number is correct or not, but the fact of the matter is we are all exposed to a plethora of brands. And I remember my early years, I never understood this. I am a technologist, I have a computer science degree, I felt I'm God's gift to mankind. I will make a great software and people will come and buy it, but people don't. So I realized that, and I would like you to expand on that. What do you mean by identity? What do you mean by, how do you set yourself up? I think your example of the donkey is phenomenal. Now, what can organizations do, or what do you think they need to do when you talk about a brand? The first few things, what comes to your mind?
Like, as you rightly pointed out, right now we are exposed to several brands. If you mentioned 5,000, it could be even higher. But the point is, there are products and services from the same group or same cluster. But how does one particular product or service stand out in the marketplace, which is already cluttered? For instance, in our childhood, probably we grew up the same time. So we used to know by the name of the company, not by the brands. So then there was a time when people realized we need to create our own brands, because there can be companies which produces or come up with same services. For instance, Emami, living in this part of the country, we know all about Emami, but not in many other parts of the country. But they know the company by the brands they make, manufacture and sell in the market. So this is the kind of utility that brand gives. For instance, Mr. Goenka, there can be umpteen number of PR professional and PR persons in and around the city. But Mr. Goenka has somehow managed to create an identity for himself. Sunil Goenka and Associates. So he doesn't need another name for his PR firm. So it can be called Sunil Goenka and Associates, and people would immediately, relate to it to him. So that is the kind of thing one needs.
That brings me to another thought, that I think it takes tremendous degree of courage to even try and create this evening that Mr. Goenka has done, which itself is the act of an entrepreneur, if you think about it, right? Very rightly, Mr. Agarwal pointed out that entrepreneurs have the courage, they need to have the courage to fail. And I think that's a very crucial component. Sunil Goenka, this event could have failed, but he still did it, and it has not failed. Sunil Goenka is also a very powerful name, because I spoke to him 2-3 days back and I said, Sunil ji, मैं जाके क्या करूँगा? And he said, वो हम लोग बाद में decide करेंगे, आप पहले हाँ बोलिए. Right? It takes courage. Now, interesting point that you made, Mr. Mukherjee. A lot of young startups tell me that, Kaustav, I will work on brand when we become bigger in size. It's a popular perception, especially among smaller companies, that you need to spend time and money on building a brand once you become big. My experience of working with experts such as you and others is that you never become big till you spend time and money on building a brand.
Absolutely, absolutely. You need to spend on your brands to become big. Unless you spend that money, time and everything, you never become big.
I think a great example is, we spoke about cloud kitchens and all that a little while back, is the Wow Momo group. Now they have 365 stores all over the country. Um, I think the way they grew is just unbelievable. Whether you like their momo or not is secondary, right? The way they grew, the way the name grew. Now, it will be very interesting to do a case study. I don't have the data to do so. But what comes to my mind, we also spoke about entrepreneurship in Bengal, for example. Now, half of the 450 million working people in India, 51% of them are self-employed. It's a big popular misnomer that 99.99% people seek a job. The fact of the matter is, we are all privileged over here. Most people in our country are eventually they become self-employed, 51%. And in India, West Bengal has a disproportionate number of MSMEs, right? Many of them possibly are shell companies or whatever stuff that is getting recorded. I should not be talking. But a large number of them are actual companies. And these actual companies do not necessarily need to become unicorns. I think, again, I come from that startup ecosystem. We don't take people seriously because Sunilji will not write about them, you will not write about them unless they become a billion-dollar company. Now, I think that is the narrative that needs to change. I don't think it's necessary for people to think that my company has to be $1 billion, number one. Number two, it's not necessary that a company has to be 1,000 people. It's also not necessary that the company need to exist for about 10 or 15 or 20 years. A small little example I would like to give, and all of you know about this company. It's a company called Candy Crush. No, it's called King.com. Their product is called Candy Crush. Now, King.com is a British company, and Candy Crush is $1 billion game. And they never could make another game after that. And I remember one of my, somebody I know while I was with London Business School, an Indian chap, his name is Ishan. He went and worked with them. And I asked them, why are you joining, King.com, Candy Crush, and leaving Goldman Sachs? And what's the point? It's just, who are they? He says, it doesn't matter. They made one product which worked. They may never make another big product. It doesn't matter. Today's youth do not think like the way I think. When I started my company, I remember I thought it's going to last for 500 years. The fact of the matter is, modern businesses may be started, they may have only one person, and they may only continue for 5 years, and that's enough. Rahul and I used to have one colleague who used to work with us. जिसको 25-30 हज़ार रुपए हम लोग salary देते थे. I remember I was in England at that point in time. I was visiting India. Rahul asked me to go and meet him. We had a cup of coffee. The boy left his job, started a small app making company. In a span of a year, Calcutta boy, him and his partner, they did some 2 or 3 crores of turnover in 1 year. Now, there is no way in the world he could have made that kind of money in our company. In fact, Rahul was very upset. Rahul said, sir, आप इतना दिन से मुझे क्या पढ़ाया कि I don't make that kind of money. This boy, he obviously, but Rahul obviously fostered a culture of entrepreneurship for that boy to see it. And that guy could not make that kind of money next year. How does it matter? How does it matter? It doesn't matter. So I think a great way of looking at it from an entrepreneurial point of view, tomorrow's state, is the businesses will be short term, less number of people, and it does not matter if it's a unicorn or not. If you would like to react.
Absolutely right. I'm reminded of another story from a different field altogether. He's a very famous author. He has maximum number of bestsellers to his credit. Very well-known name. I'm not naming him. But he just had his first book released at that point of time. He was very young. He used to travel on train almost he was a Delhi passenger at that point of time, working in Calcutta High Court. So, and the place where he used to live in, they used to organize a very, very popular program during Durga Puja. And every year they used to bring in some popular novelist, writer. So that year, the organizers thought, since this guy lives in our locality, why don't you bring him? So they invited him. And one day, this gentleman was going back from court to his home and sitting in the team. People hardly knew him at that point of time. So 2 boys from his locality who were also traveling, they were discussing among themselves, "Arey, who are they bringing this time during your this Durga Puja festival? Who is this one novel author?" So he was like crestfallen. He went back, shut the door, went inside, didn't have his dinner. Then his mother, who was knocking at the door, the boy, "What happened? What happened?" Just opened the door. He was not willing to open the door. So after some time, when finally his mother got inside the room, the boy narrated the story to him. You know, they insulted me like describing me as a one novel author. So his mother, who never went to school, told her son, "जे बेटा वो जो काशीराम दास था उन्होंने कितना किताब लिखा था, कृत्तिवास उन्होंने कितना किताब लिखा था, but people know him for one brand, one book they have written." So now the same book is getting translated even after 60 years and getting filmed. So as you rightly pointed out, it doesn't matter how many brands you create or how many products you create, but there has to be, you have to excel in whatever you do. And you rightly mentioned about the Wow Momo also. Let me give you another story. I was working with a newspaper at that point of time. So that time, Sagar is a very good friend, Wow Momo founder. He had a partner, a Nepali guy. So I met this gentleman who is from the same college at another program. So he was telling me they had just launched Wow Momo that point of time, a small, I think around Lake Gardens or South City Mall. So after hearing their story, I wrote a piece on Wow Momo for my paper. So my editor-in-chief sitting in Delhi, he was shouting at me, "Now so you will write about any roadside vendors. Who is this guy just making momo and you have written about him?" And you won't believe, within 6 months down the road, when by then Sagar had already created his brand, like Wow Momo, getting funds from so many investors. So the same editor-in-chief called me back and said, "By the way, you know this guy Sagar, na? So why don't you interview him and write a story for him?" So that's
I
the
think
kind of...
the moral of the story is that if you're growing a brand, you know who should be writing about you. Thank you very much. I think that was a great, wonderful conversation. Just passing thoughts for everybody, whether your company is a billion-dollar company or your company is just started. If you don't have a brand, you're going nowhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to our panelists. I would like to call on Mr. Amit Khaitan to, sir, just 1 minute. Legend, please. Mr. Amit Khaitan to present Mr. Ritvik, a token of appreciation. And Mr. Sharad Agarwal for Mr. Costa. Thank you so much, sir. A round of applause for our panelists. Thank you so much.